On this morning's ride, I'm out getting some cardio, and when I take my bike out, I generally like setting a destination. Sometimes I don't, but most times I have something in mind. And today I have a bit of a unique destination. I'm going to go visit the final resting spot of a Toronto Police Constable that was killed in the line of duty. Now, since the Toronto Police Association, or not the association, the Toronto Police Service, I believe it was formed in 1834, and when I looked up the records to see how many Toronto police constables have been killed in the line of duty, the records I found only date back to 1901, and I believe it was like 42. I think that's the exact number. 42 constables were killed in the line of duty, including only one woman. So there was 41 men and one woman killed in the line of duty. So I don't make it a point of going to cemeteries to pay my respects to police officers. I have done it one time in the past, and I did that when I was out in Vancouver at Mountain View Cemetery. I went to visit a Victoria Cross recipient, Robert McBeath, but I went there because he was Victoria Cross recipient. That's my my hobby, is going to military graves. But having said that, Robert McBeath was killed in the line of duty for the Vancouver Police Service. I think 3 years after he came back from World War I. So he was a Victoria Cross recipient, then he gets killed in the line of duty in Vancouver as a policeman, and he was killed by a man from Florida, a US citizen. So the person I'm going to go visit today, his name is David Frank Goldsworthy. And why this is significant to me is because Constable Goldsworthy was slain on the day I was born, October 6, 1969. And I remember growing up, my parents would always reference, well, not always, when I was younger, they'd say every so often, yeah, Constable Goldsworthy was killed in the line of duty on your birthday. So yesterday, I was watching some YouTube videos, and I was watching a YouTube video of the Royal Canadian Military Institute in Toronto, and the gentleman that was narrating the video, his last name was Goldsworthy, so it kind of got me to thinking, I wonder where David Frank Goldsworthy is his final resting spot is. And coincidentally, he's resting in a cemetery that I've been in many times. It's Riverside Cemetery, and I'm on my way there now. And once I get there, I'll find his resting spot, and I'll go over a little bit of what happened to him on October 6, 1969, that took his life. Okay, so I'm just at the cemetery now, and I'm at Lawrence Avenue and Royal York Road, just south of Dixon Road. So Lawrence Avenue turns into the Westway if you go straight through. So on this side, on the northeast side of Royal York and Lawrence is Riverside Cemetery, and over there is Sanctuary Park Cemetery. When I first came up here last year, early last year, I was up looking for Corporal Frederick Topham, a Victoria Cross recipient from the Second World War, and he's in Sanctuary Park. But I thought the two cemeteries were the same name. I thought they were both Sanctuary Park. So when I came up looking for Frederick Topham VC, I started off on this side, and I looked and I couldn't find him, and I did have his plot information. It's one of those things that happens. And subsequently, I stumbled upon Mayor Rob Ford's final resting spot in Riverside Cemetery. So I know exactly where Rob Ford is laying in rest, and so subsequently I found Frederick Topham, and I've been to his grave several times since, and Doug Ford as well. So in researching Constable Goldsworthy, you know, it turns out he's in Riverside Cemetery. So I have his location, his plot location in my pocket. So I'm gonna go try to find David Goldsworthy, and we'll take it from there. There's two ways to entrance this cemetery. One off Lawrence Avenue, and I'm going to take, this is the main entrance coming up off of Royal York. I probably should have took the Lawrence entrance, but I didn't. Now, if you come to this cemetery, it's a very narrow driveway coming in. Now, I don't know how many people are going to be coming up to visit Constable Goldsworthy's grave, other than relatives and members of the Toronto Police Service or the Toronto Police Association. But yeah, so because he's been dead as long as I've been alive, and that's coming up on 56 years in October. So, and I'm to understand his wife has passed on as well, I believe in 2008. I don't know if she remarried, but I'll go over that when I find his grave. Okay, so I'm standing in front of Constable Goldsworthy's final resting spot right now, and I'm going to go over, you know, the information that I got from how he died. He was shot to death, and I got another connection with Constable Goldsworthy, other than he died on my birthday, my exact birthday, October 6, 69. But I'll go over that in 1 second. But here is his grave, his final resting spot. And it's good to see he has a Canada flag. I'm going to add another one. I brought one for him. I kind of figured that he would have a Canada flag because most people that are either military, that are recognized for military service, or first responders, that's the first thing I look for, is the flag. And he actually has the crest of the Toronto Police Service on his tombstone. David F Goldsworthy, middle name Frank, Metropolitan Toronto Police Officer, badge number 1967, 1967, and he was at a 31 Division. 31 Division's up by 400 Finch. David was killed in the line of duty investigating a break-in on Gary Ray Drive in the area of Steeles Avenue and Weston Road in North York. He was shot 3 times, beaten, and left in a field. He was found by fellow officers when he failed to report off duty that night. He was 26 years old and left behind a wife. Her age was 23 at the time, and a 2-year-old son. So the son, if still alive, and I hope that he is, he'd be 2 years older than me, obviously. So he'd be 67. So I have another connection with Officer Goldsworthy. I worked on Gary Ray Drive back in the late 90s. I worked for Atlas Cold Storage, which had a location, I believe it was at 10 Gary Ray. So the whole time I worked there back in the 90s, I didn't realize that the policeman that got killed on my birthday got killed up right on that area, on that street. So that's another distinction between Constable Goldsworthy and myself. Now, the gun that killed Constable Goldsworthy was a Brazilian-made .38 snub-nose revolver, and they subsequently recovered the murder weapon. A catering truck worker, found it in a toilet, either in the water closet or actually in the toilet. There's not a whole lot of information that I could get other than that. So then I wondered, you know, did they ever catch the murderer? And apparently they did. Apparently Constable Goldsworthy scrawled down on his duty notepad the first name Vincenzo. It was scrawled on his notepad. So I guess that was a good lead for the detectives that were investigating the homicide. And apparently they caught him, and he pled guilty to first-degree murder, and he got life in prison. So, and his name was Vincenzo Fazzari, last name spelled F-A-Z-Z-R-I. So apparently I couldn't find any more information on him, whether he got released or when he got released. If he's dead now, I don't know. But his wife, Constable Goldsworthy's wife, Betty, she passed away in 2008. And look at that. See how my flag got caught onto that flag? Oh, I'm going to leave it like that. So down here the inscription says, "Someday we will understand." Yeah, maybe someday we will, but I guess up until this point they don't. But maybe they do, I don't know. It sounds like a senseless murder. He was investigating a break-and-enter or a robbery, and for whatever reason this guy Vincenzo got the drop on him and shot him a few times and beat him. Pretty savage by the sounds of it. Not a way to go out. And you know, a young guy, he was 26 with a 2-year-old child at home. So normally, like I said, I don't normally visit the final resting spots of first responders. Well, I shouldn't say that. Like I said, I have. But this distinction, you know, it's you know, like I said, it was like I said, the name was jogged in my memory yesterday when I was watching the YouTube video, and I thought, you know what, I'm going on a ride today, which is the following day when I watched the YouTube video, and I thought, well, you know what, let's make it a destination ride. So I found out where PC Goldsworthy was resting, and I've been in here before. Like I said, across the street is Victoria Cross recipient Frederick Topham, and over there is Doug Ford's final resting spot. I've done a video on both of them, so I'm not going to go back over. But yeah, so so I finally get to see the, well, not him in person obviously, but I get to see the final resting spot of the officer that was mentioned to me over the course of my childhood. Every time it was my birthday, my parents would sometimes mention the constable that got killed on my birthday. And well, here he is. Nice tombstone. I'm glad there was a flag for him. Now there's another flag, and I like how that connected down there. So yeah, I don't think Constable Goldsworthy's name is an everyday mentioned name due to the longevity of his death, how long it's been. But I imagine that he's still recognized, obviously, from the Toronto Police Service, Toronto Police Association. He's on their websites, and he's on a few websites, you know, paying respect. You know, it's no way to go out. You don't want to go to work and you not come home to your family. So obviously you can understand, you know, the sadness there, but it is the line of work that he chose. It's you know, it's dangerous, very dangerous at times, and you know, it's either boring. I'm not a police officer or a military or anything like that, but it's obviously can be a very boring job. But then, you know, then the next minute you're dead. So anyhow, so I'm just gonna have a little breakfast in with Constable Goldsworthy. I brought a little protein bar here, breaking my fast. So I'm gonna have this to eat, have a drink of water, then I'll head back or head out on my ride further, because it was only, I don't know, about 5 kilometers from my house to here. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, enjoy your day wherever you are in the world.